1 year ago, this musician made the biggest bet of his life. He packed up everything and moved to Nashville, Tennessee, chasing something most people only dream about. Now he's back in Des Moines sitting on a city bus talking about the career he's building, the road that got him here, and the single dropping April 10th. This is that conversation. So today we are on the DART bus and I'm here with
Jose Barahona.
Dude, and it is great to have you here. How long have you been an artist?
Oh, man, like 7 years at this point.
7 years at this point?
Yeah.
So tell us, what was the start like for you? Like, what was the start and journey for you in your music career?
Okay, well, I mean, I started at making beats at like 11 years old, 6th grade.
6th grade?
And I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with, I always knew that I wanted to be like an artist. Growing up, that was what I told people. Conservatively, you know, I would kind of like keep it in old bag a little bit on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a terrible singer, so the easiest way for me to get into that in 6th grade was starting to make beats. In 8th grade, I launched my Josue Beats project, which has done pretty well. And about 3 years ago, my sophomore year of high school, I started writing songs. That's my main project today.
That's kind of cool. When I saw your YouTube channel, I actually saw just like how it was like lo-fi, and it's up to 40,000 subscribers, which is really impressive. Did you start that at 11 years old, or when did you start that?
I started that at 13 years old.
Dude,
We
13
actually
years old?
very recently, a couple weeks ago, celebrated 5 years.
5 years?
Being on YouTube. So,
dude,
yeah.
super congrats. For what has that project been like for you? Like, how has that amplified your career as a musician now?
It's been really interesting. I mean, the music industry has become so much about just numbers on social media, numbers on a screen. And that's great and all, and I'm really blessed to have the numbers I have. So
Yeah.
It gives me leverage. You know, it's really what's gotten me into some of these really important writing sessions and rooms that I've been in Nashville.
Yeah.
And gotten me some awesome opportunities, as well as just a platform to share and try out new things with, 40,000 people. So it's great.
I know we talked about earlier, especially just like through our chats, just how you went from Des Moines to Nashville. What made you decide to do that experience, and what's it like?
Man.
Yeah.
So I have a mentor here. His name is Derek Frank in Des Moines, Iowa. He connected me with my now manager down in Nashville. And it just kind of felt like I had no choice, in a good way, because Nashville's just like the place to be. It's the same way San Francisco is the place to be for software engineers or people that want to start startups and companies in tech. Nashville is just the place you have to be for music. So I went down there, like 2 days before my 18th birthday, I moved down there, and pretty much just haven't looked back since. I've been back home a bunch of times. I've been kind of iffy on whether I really like the social culture down there and everything, but the music down there is so incredible. The fact that I can walk down the street and I'm bound to meet like 5 musicians on just a simple walk down the block, it's amazing. There's no place on earth like it.
Talking about kind of like making the decision, how did the people around you react, and what did they have to say when you decided to make this move?
So I come from a Salvadoran immigrant household.
Okay.
So my parents were not thrilled about my choice when I first told them that this was my plan, especially at 17. They weren't very happy with it, and for a long time they tried to convince me to go to college, because I'm not in college down there or anything. And for the most part, they've been really, really supportive, but with a hint of like protective parentness, if that makes any sense at all.
Course.
And I know that they do it out of love. I know that it's because they care about me so much. But, they're usually not the ones I go to talk to about how life has been down there, besides the most superficial stuff. Because in a lot of ways, I know it'll point back to like, oh, maybe you should have gone to college or something. Yeah.
Where does your best work come from? Is it from joy? Is it from heartbreak?
I think for the most part, because, I've had plenty of experience with it over the years, but still, I'm 18 years old. Like, I'm still new to this regardless, because I'm new to life in general. So for the most part, because it's so easy to pull from, I pull from like heartbreak a lot of the time. Heartbreak and like not feeling like belonging in a place, because ever since moving to Nashville, I've been really iffy, like I said, about the social culture there, feeling like I don't necessarily belong, especially being the youngest in almost every room that I walk into, music or not related. So a lot of feeling like I don't belong. And that paired with heartbreak has given me a lot to pull from, even though it's really just past experiences. I'm 18 and, a very significant portion of my life, love interests have been like new and exciting and a massive focus. So it's really easy to pull from the heartbreak, especially.
That's wow. No, like, what age was your first heartbreak?
That's a fun question. I would say, officially, I would probably say 15 years old, as it does that. Yes.
Before we get to talking to about your next single, I'm just kind of curious, like what is your kind of like why? Like why do you feel like this is the career for you? This is where your core is.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I've been really in between a lot of times, and I try not to present that online and everything. But, I've had some doubts and considerations at several points, particularly because nobody in my family has anything to do with anything music related. They're Hispanic immigrants. They came to the U.S. and just worked their asses off for years, building a life here in the U.S. And none of them ever did anything music related. That's not really a part of my family. But over time, that's become all the more reason as to why I should really pursue this, in my opinion.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's just built into me naturally. There's no influence, like from growing up and everything, that brought me into this. It's just in my blood. So I know that this is what's meant for me. Apart from that, it's just such a awesome release. Artists talk about this kind of thing all the time, but nothing makes me feel as alive as when I'm in the studio, writing a song, sitting down with the guitar, producing a song for somebody else. Nothing makes me feel that joyful.
I think it's so interesting to hear about this, and I'm wanting to get a little bit in the core, but like who inspires you, or who's someone that you seek to be like, especially at a age so young?
I would have to say primarily my dad. As is pretty typical for Hispanic immigrants and their children, their sons. I've had a rocky relationship with my dad. I don't want to say it's a given with that sort of a thing, but it's very common.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you might know. But, he came to the U.S. at 17 years old. He started from zero, absolute scratch, and built an incredible life. Owns 3 successful businesses alongside my mom. Built an incredible family, and did it all in the name of serving for God and just protecting his family. At times, a lot of times, there's a lot that I don't agree with him. But all in all, I know that he's a man with a great heart that I look up to so much, because my work ethic literally just stems directly from him. So
you're releasing the single. Tell us more about it, if you don't mind.
Okay. So this song is called Me Voy. It's my first ever song that I've written entirely in Spanish. I wrote this song the night of the Super Bowl. Wow. I'm sure you remember the night of the Super Bowl, because it's the night that Bad Bunny performed. And, I'm not even that big of a Bad Bunny fan or anything like that. I've never really have been. But seeing his performance, it's not even the performance in itself. It was just what he represented for Latinos in the United States. And I know that my parents went through so much struggle coming here and building a life from scratch, and seeing that represented on such a massive global scale inspired me and touched me like I have never been inspired and touched before. It was so unreal and phenomenal. And I remember looking at the TV and being like it was just me sitting alone in my living room, and I was dumbfounded. And I've never been dumbfounded by a performance or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I stayed up till like 4 a.m. that night writing this song called Me Voy, entirely in Spanish. It started as 2 different ideas. Okay. The main idea when I went into it was like what my parents might be thinking to say to their parents as they've lived the majority of their life away from them, away from their real home. But then it slowly morphed into, I see myself in this. Like, I'm moving away. I'm not necessarily comfortable where I'm at, but I know it's necessary for the life that I want. Moving to Nashville and doing all that. It's necessary for the life that I want.
Yeah.
So it slowly morphed into, Absolutely. 3 different parts. I left to Nashville. I didn't love it. It's part 1. I came back to Iowa, Des Moines, for some time to work on a project, and I ended up realizing nothing has really changed, but absolutely nothing is the same here as when I left. And so the last part is just me leaving again and sort of no direction, just kind of aimlessly following whatever path God has in line for me.
Out of curiosity, how many versions of this song existed before you came to the final one?
It's not a crazy amount for this one, because I think this one came together so easily in a lot of ways. But all things considered, because I had my manager Derek Frank, he played hand drums on this track.
Yeah.
And he killed it. Before that, there were maybe 3 versions. After him, there were 2 more versions. We did 2 different studio days in which we changed the song a little bit. Then we sent it to my manager in Nashville. He had some comments on it, so I changed some stuff around. And all in all, I'd like to say we had 6 different versions.
Wow.
Before we came to the final piece.
So this was from the time of the Super Bowl, when Benito went on to the Super Bowl, all the way till now. And this will be released, and what's like your timeline of release?
So this is dropping April 10th. We filmed a music video. We just spent the last 2 days on set filming the music video, which is, I'm looking to drop it the exact same day, maybe a week later. So April 10th, and I'm so pumped.
Have you played it for those who are close to you, and how have they reacted?
I haven't really played it for much of anybody. I've listened to it on a repeat as a listener, because, I don't usually do that for my own music. Not because I feel that it's arrogant or like I feel like I'll be full of myself or something, just because I haven't loved the song this much in so long.
Yeah.
I am so fond and in love with this song and so proud of it that I can listen to it as a listener and be like, this is amazing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So I haven't really played it for much of anybody but myself and the people that worked on the track. And to be honest, I kind of like it that way. Like,
yeah,
I kind of wanted to stay in that place until it's released, until people see the entire vision with the music video included, and see what was going through my head in the moment that I wrote it.
So we're kind of like closing into this interview. I'm just kind of curious, like, is there something that we haven't touched, something that you would like to add or discuss on that we haven't covered in this interview?
Not necessarily in this interview, but I know that this next part is going to be something totally new, totally different, with me sitting with a sign waiting for people to maybe listen to this new song.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm really curious as to, first of all, what that looks like, and second of all, do you have any idea if people are actually going to come up and like,
yeah,
want to listen to it? Would you be down to listen to my song for like 2 minutes and tell me your thoughts?
Yeah, sure.
Nada ha cambiado aquí desde el día que yo me fui. La nena, el perro, los hoyos en la calle, los niños gritando son agua de frío. Es todo lo que quise, por fin ya te tengo a ti. Pero algo está mal, estoy cansada, pero...
Is he gonna film this?
Is that okay?
Is that okay with you?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
No, me pega. De ser vagabundo no quiero, no tengo opción cuando el mundo entero se siente como un punto cero. Jamás llegaré a entenderlo. Por eso, en manos de Dios en el cielo lo dejo.
I don't know Spanish, so I don't know the lyrics.
Of course.
But I'm a big fan of 50s and 60s vintage salsa and samba.
Oh, really?
And
Wonderful.
it's got a lot of that flavor, especially in the beginning. I love that. Yeah, that's really awesome.
Thank you so much.
It's not bad, but language I can't.
Yeah, of course, it's
I
in
don't
Spanish.
understand the words at all.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's got a good dance beat to it.
Yes, dude.
That's a party song right there, yeah.
Can I ask you this? You speak Spanish by any chance?
No, not at all. But I would still vibe to that.
Well, just don't give up on it. Keep on going as far as you can take it, 'cause you can make something out of yourself. And don't listen to the critics, because they don't know nothing.